You know how we all have this picture in our minds of what early pregnancy is supposed to feel like? Well, what if you don't feel any of it? Today, we are tackling a question that causes so much confusion and worry for so many people. Can you actually be pregnant without having any symptoms at all? Let's get into it. Okay, let's just get right to the heart of it. You've got a positive pregnancy test, but you feel totally normal. There's no morning sickness, no crazy fatigue. So, does that mean something's wrong? It's a super common fear, and honestly, the answer might not be what you think. All right, so first things first, let's talk about the expectation. I mean, where does this idea of what pregnancy should feel like even come from? It's everywhere, right? Movies, stories from our friends, things we read online, it all paints a very specific picture. And this is pretty much the classic script, isn't it? We're all taught to expect nausea, that exhaustion that just hits you like a ton of bricks, sore breasts, and just this general feeling that, something in your body is different. That's the checklist we all have in our heads. But that's the expectation. Now let's talk about the reality, because for a lot of women, it can look and feel completely different. So here it is, the single most important point. Can you be pregnant without any of those classic symptoms? The answer is a huge, definite yes. And not only is it possible, it is 100% normal. And this really shows you the difference between the myth and the reality. We expect these immediate, obvious signs. But the truth is, you might not have any signs for weeks. We think everyone gets the same symptoms, but nope, every woman's body reacts differently. We expect to feel different, but so many women feel completely and totally normal. Okay, so that obviously brings up the big question, why? Why is your friend feeling sick right away while you feel absolutely nothing? Well, it all comes down to our own unique biology. If you look at the timeline of a really early pregnancy, it makes perfect sense. In those first few weeks when fertilization and implantation are happening, your hormone levels are just starting to ramp up. They're still pretty low. So it's totally logical that you might not feel anything yet. It's usually after week 6 that those hormone levels get high enough to potentially start triggering those symptoms we all hear about. And there's more to it than just timing. Every single person has a different sensitivity to those hormonal shifts. Your genetics actually play a role in this too. And for some people, symptoms like nausea just decide to show up a bit later. Plus, and this is a big one, sometimes the symptoms are so mild, like being just a little more tired than usual, that you might just brush them off as a normal part of life. But of course, even when you know all that, it's hard not to worry. The biggest fear is usually, if I don't have symptoms, does that mean something is wrong with the pregnancy? I want you to really let this sink in, because this is probably the most important thing you'll hear today. The absence of symptoms says absolutely nothing about how healthy or on track your pregnancy is. There's just no medical connection there, period. The fact is, so many women have a completely quiet, uneventful start to their pregnancy and go on to have perfectly healthy babies. A symptom-free beginning is just another completely normal way to start this journey. Okay, so you're in this limbo of not knowing and feeling uncertain. How can you start to make sense of what you're feeling or what you're not feeling? Well, let's talk about one way you can get a little bit of orientation. Let's be real. Trying to analyze every tiny feeling or lack of feeling can drive you crazy. It's so hard to see things clearly when you're just stuck in your own head about it. So, there's actually a free online self-check that can give you a little structure. It's a tool that takes you through 45 specific questions, and it helps you think systematically about what's going on with your body. So what does this thing actually do? Well, first, it just helps you organize what you're observing. It takes that whole cloud of confusing feelings or non-feelings and puts it into a clearer context. And then at the end, it gives you a percentage-based assessment. Now, this isn't a diagnosis. It's just meant to give you a bit of orientation. And this part is so important. I have to say it twice. This is an orientation tool. It is not a medical test. It absolutely does not and cannot replace a real pregnancy test or a conversation with your doctor. Think of it as a way to gather your thoughts before you get that professional advice. So when you boil it all down, it really just comes to this. Your body is your own, and your pregnancy is your own unique experience. Not having symptoms isn't a red flag. It's just your body's personal way of doing things. So the real question is, are you ready to trust that and just listen to your own experience?